What's up, Redcasters? It's Mac and Honke. We're on our way home from Minnesota. Another heart-wrenching gut punch. But hey, that's Husker football. Season started. We're just gonna kind of go over some of the stuff we were talking about on the way up. The 5 things we were confident about. Have some thoughts on that. Talk about a little bit of the stuff that we liked, some of the stuff we didn't like at all, and
what we got right, what we got wrong.
Some things we can build on. It always is good the day after to kind of not take a little of the emotion out of it, because it was difficult. So starting off, our 5 things, Honk, that we said out of the gate we were confident about. Number one, we were going to be more physical.
Let's go.
Check. We were definitely more physical from jump. I thought the defense and offense both, they were hitting out there. The contact wasn't an issue for the team last night. They looked like they were used to it. So that was good to see. Would you agree?
Yeah, and that's in all 3 phases. You saw it on the very first kickoff, and that was right in front of where we were sitting, and you saw the guys flying down the field, good tackling, which is actually one of the other 5. But yeah, there was just a physical approach that looked different from what we saw a year ago and in previous years. So I would say that that's a check mark. We were confident in it. It happened.
Yeah, and since we already brought it up, tackling absolutely, we were confident we were going to see that. And for the game 1, that was lights out tackling. I mean, they wrapped up, they swarmed, they were around the ball. I do think we're going to get some turnovers this year, just based on how many guys we have around the ball. So that was good to see.
Yep.
Another thing we were confident about, special teams was cleaner. Special teams was way cleaner. They looked, Billy Kemp, they talk about those hidden yards. I know that first punt, that was kind of a tough one. We were at the game. It was a low kick. The wind was kind of strange, so that was just a bad bounce. But other than that, he did a great job of fielding and getting some of that hidden yardage back. Obviously, Ramirez's kickoff return was fantastic.
That changed everything. That first minute, we scored within 1 minute of the second half by 14:02 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
We'd already put 7 up, but that was all started by that the kickoff return. They didn't get a good kickoff return on us. They didn't get a good punt return on us. For what it's worth, in the limited amount that we saw Alvano, he makes his extra point, he makes his field goal. So at least that's a strong start to the season for him, and it's something that he can build off of from a confidence standpoint.
Buscemi, I think he pinned all of his kicks, all his punts inside the 20, and good hang time.
But I'll tell you, man, that is something that they need to work on for next week.
Oh, yeah.
They've got to watch. It was.
They were getting a little too close for comfort.
It was close with them getting a good rush on the punt.
Yeah, for sure.
And hitting those up guys. And Buscemi, there wasn't a lot of space between that. So
no.
I don't know if they need to do something from a spacing standpoint or whatever, but there's things to work on there too.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Didn't bite us yesterday. And Buscemi, I mean, he's a good punter. We've got good specialists.
Yeah, it would have been nice if we could have got Alvano a chance to win the game. I thought maybe we were going to.
Yeah.
Which brings us maybe to our one of the things we were confident about that didn't work out. Game management wasn't my favorite.
Yeah.
I didn't think. Go ahead.
No. It's the situational football and the game management piece. And there was everything from 3 straight passes with 8 minutes left on that drive, 2 of them being incompletions, not taking clock down, but also something I don't know that we were expecting to see be such an issue, and it was a legit issue, but this is something that can, and not just can, needs to be fixed immediately. They aren't getting play calls out there, or they're rotating players in on offense. This is an offense-specific issue.
Very much so.
That we're snapping the ball with 2 and 3 seconds. We're breaking huddle with 11 seconds. Get going. And I realize it's the first game of the season. Look, anyone that's coached football at any level, I coached little kids for cripe's sakes, and you can make huge improvements between one game and the next with things like that. Yeah. And there's just no excuse.
That was
for being
that it cost us some timeouts. It cost us a lot. That was not an issue I was expecting to have. Rule had alluded to it in an earlier press conference, saying we'd worked so much on reps and getting plays down. We hadn't worked so much about just the subbing people in and out, and the crispness of that. That is something. You're right. It can be worked on. It can be improved upon. It has to be improved upon.
It needs to be night and day better by next week already. There's no reason that we are having substitution issues and timing issues like that, you do not break a huddle. And it would be one thing. I don't want to complain. I'm not complaining about something because 2 times yesterday it happened. It was happening drive after drive, and you really felt it in the stadium. Sometimes you don't get as good of a feel for something in the stadium. Sometimes it's better to watch it on TV. Yeah. But things like that, there's moments where it's like you get to see things more there. And it was like, it was just general confusion that I would not expect to see. I don't want to see in week 1, let alone have that trail off.
Yeah, and then so for the last one, we were confident that we would see a greater emphasis on the run game. Now, I guess in a technical sense, we were right. But what I thought when we were talking about it, I was specific in my thoughts anyway. I wanted to see a running back heavy emphasis on the run game, not so much the quarterback, with his 19 or 16 carries, depending on how you want to count sacks.
3 sacks, so 19, 3 of them,
but
6 carries, 16 carries.
I thought we overused him. I didn't like how we ran him a lot of times. He has ability running the ball, but I want a little bit more straight up running game. I liked what we did when we did it. We talked about it. We talked about it on the way down already. It's like you got to be comfortable with the 3-yard runs. That's got to be okay. And I just felt like we get one of those and immediately jump ship, or we pull Gabe Irvin out, or we pull out the big set. It was just oddly run. And though we had more rushing yards than them, that was more of a credit to the defense. I don't think, for one, it's not sustainable with Sims. You can't keep running that many times a
game.
game.
And it's offensive malpractice as an offensive coordinator. When you have a running back like Irvin who has 7 carries for 55 yards, 7.9 yards a carry, I promise you, if we play Iowa, if we play Minnesota, if we play Wisconsin, if we play one of those teams, and they have a back who's averaging 7.9 yards a carry, that back isn't getting 7 carries. That back is getting 20 and 25 carries. The old bell cow concept. It was of those 16 carries, true carries that Sims had. I don't think it's that hard to look at those 16 carries, break them down, and probably find 7 to 8 of them that could have been handled very well by Irvin, and give him more of a workload of 13 to 14 carries, which still isn't a lot.
Right.
But to give him those carries, and there were meaningful carries that went right up the gut that were QB leads, kind of the things they said they weren't going to do. So that part is frustrating. But I love what they did with Sims in some of the zone read game, and also the down the line option in the I formation under center. Loved it. So there are elements of that I like too. But I mean, to talk about Sims in the passing game, his the pocket presence, that's just not his game.
No.
And this is a thing where it's not about getting it better. Let's work harder and make it better. There are things in this playbook. I said the same thing a year ago when with Whipple. There's times we just did too much stuff. And there's things you got to be able to rip out sometimes and say, that's just not who we're going to be this year. Oh, but he missed this wide open guy. Doesn't matter. If you're not seeing it, if that pocket presence isn't there, don't tell me about the guy he didn't see. He didn't see him. Yeah. And you can call that play 100 times. Same thing with, we got to get a receiver who could take the top off. Tommy Hill took the top off. There was no problem. He was 10 yards behind past the guy. If we can't get the ball to him, then it doesn't matter. What is it, the things that we do well? Focus on those things. Tony White did such a good job defensively with that.
Yep.
He didn't throw too much at him. In fact, we pulled back a few. I think we did a couple blitzes. They didn't quite come home. So he kind of pulled some things back. Sims, even when there's a blitz coming on him, he doesn't see it the same way that Minnesota's guys would. Our guys would come in blitz, and their guy would know just how to roll out. So
a couple things that we liked, I guess. We definitely liked the physicality and the tackling of the defense. I think they had a strong starting for the season. On the offensive side, we've got players there still. We're still definitely kind of searching for our identity, but there's still. I didn't know that I need to rewatch the game, but I think the line was probably okay. Special teams was clean. I liked what we were doing with that. A couple things we didn't like, obviously, how we're using Just Sims to date. The substitutions are an issue, getting those in and out. Still a little bit of game management to clean up. But, hey, guys, there's things to build on here. It's game 1. We knew this was probably a 50-50 coin flip. We were in it till the very last. And, hey, they didn't cover. So, thanks for listening. It's GBR. I think things will get better. We'll keep our fingers crossed.
GBR.